cool South Georgia morning, or cool by South Georgia standards. I think it's about 48, 49 degrees this morning. Second week of November. I just put some onions in the ground. Now, I have direct seeded onions in the past, and the problem we have with direct seeding onions here is you have to direct seed the type of onions we grow. I grow a yellow granix onion, and you have to direct seed that onion about the second week of October. Well, we have a weed that comes up here in South Georgia called henbit. It makes a little purple flower. Henbit comes up about now, second week of November. And if I direct seed my onions in October, they'll be just now germinated, small, real little fragile plants, and then all of a sudden the henbit comes up as thick as turf. And so it overtakes my onions, and you have a lot of problems. Of course, I could spray for it, but I really don't like using chemicals on my vegetables. I'm going to eat them things. I don't want herbicides and pesticides on them. So what I do instead now is I transplant onions instead of direct seeding. So I wait until the henbit has germinated, and then I cultivate it in and transplant my onions. Just this week, the henbit has germinated pretty good. It's coming up. We've already cultivated the fertilizer into the ground. The henbit has sprouted. Now we will cultivate the henbit to get rid of it and drop those onions in the dirt. Let's see if we can get it done. So you see we got our winter weeds already germinating and coming up here. Actually pretty good germination on those winter weeds. We're going to cultivate them in, get rid of them, and come in here and drop these onions in right behind it. So I got all my drip tape down. I got it on and running. So we're getting the ground good and wet. I'm going to start putting these onions in the ground. I got these transplants from Dixondale Farms out in Texas. These are yellow granix onions, which is the same kind they grow in Vidalia. However, there are only 20 counties in Georgia that are allowed to say Vidalia onions when marketing their onions. Clay County is not one of them. So these are South Georgia sweet onions. Same onion, same state, different name. South Georgia sweet onions. We're going to be putting them in the dirt here. One thing with these onions, a lot of old timers will tell you got to ring your onions. You got to go in and push the dirt back around the bulbs and make them grow. That's only true if you plant your onions too deep. These onions should only be planted about 1 inch deep, no deeper. So just above the little white spot there, and that's plenty deep. You plant them any deeper than that, then yes, you will have to ring them. But if you plant them shallow enough, you do not have to ring them for your bulbs to develop properly. So we're going to be sticking all these onions in the ground. I think I got between 2,500 and 2,700 plants sticking in the ground today. We'll see if we can get it done and get them planted just the right depth and get these things growing. So you see I got all the onions in the ground now. I got about 1,600 planted this afternoon. I got another 1,000 roughly to plant. I'll get to do them in the next couple of days. I plant these on twin rows. I have 2 twin rows per bed. I use a 5-foot bed because it's tractor tire to tractor tire spacing. And then I go around 4 to 7 inches in row spacing. It's just a rough measurement, it's not exact, but if you get in closer, it'll make a bunching onion. And I want a jumbos, so I space them out around 6 inches and then around 1 foot between the rows to get the desired onion that we want. While I was watering the onions, getting them planted, I also had to water on my carrots. They're looking pretty good. I have 8 rows of carrots in this 5-foot wide bed. So there's a lot of carrots in here, and I plant them that thick to try to keep the weed pressure down. It's tough to get the carrots established clean because it takes them a long time to germinate and a long time to get big. But if you plant them this tight, if you can get them cleaned out, get the weeds cleaned out, by the time they get this size, they will shade out the weeds because there's so many rows of them and the in-row spacing is so tight, they will prevent any weeds from growing in them. But it's really hard to get them clean at this point. Once you get to this point, it's easy to keep them clean, but I struggle with the weeds in the carrots. I don't use chemicals on my carrots. It's all hand weeding until they get big enough to shade out, and then you're in the clear.